Emerald Downs Weekly starts right now. NBC Sports Northwest every Thursday night at 11, Friday morning at 9. You're watching. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. Hi, fellas.
Hey, guys.
Hey. We are coming off one of the busiest weekends in the history of Emerald Downs. We're going to get to that on the show, and we're going to talk about this weekend as well. Our first 4-day week of racing. Phil, are you ready?
We're ready. Friday night, and then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Memorial Day, 6:30 post time Friday, and then 2 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Lots of racing action, and the weather forecast right now looks perfect. Beautiful weather.
And a general comment on the meeting so far. We have had a lot of good days at Emerald Downs.
It's been great.
A couple of years now.
Lots of fast racetracks.
A lot of fast racetracks. Every race.
Lots of people.
Every single race.
All kinds of racing too, Joe.
Oh, and we're going to get to that. Exotic animals on the track last week. A great crowd. And as Phil mentioned, we have going to have good weather this weekend, so make plans to come out to Emerald Downs. And let's just start with Monday, the final day of this 4-day race week. The Great Outdoors Giveaway. That started last year. It was pretty darn successful. All you need to do is fill out your entry blank, and this is for men or women. Everybody can sign up for this one.
Gary, you didn't shop for these prizes, right?
I did not, but we have some good stuff, including the grand prize, which is a Louisiana Grills wood pellet smoker grill. This thing is top-notch, worth, I think, $800. So lots of stuff to give away. There it is.
Wow.
That's in my backyard, Phil. Do you believe that?
Well, that's why we didn't let you go shopping.
That is a nice-looking unit right there. And just getting ready for spring and summer outdoor barbecuing. Yeah, the Great Outdoor Giveaway is Monday at Emerald Downs. Again, fill out your free entry blank. When you come into the track, we're going to have drawings throughout the afternoon for just a nice long page of prizes, outdoor theme prizes. That's Monday. We have a couple of stakes races this weekend, which we're going to talk about as well. The Auburn Stakes for 3-year-olds on Sunday, and the Hastings on Monday. And defending champ Citizen Kitty is expected to run, Gary.
Oh, wow. She's looked very impressive the first out at the meet. And she's won how many stakes? 5 or 6 in her career here?
Oh, there we go. Mark that one down. There's our
4?
first correction.
Okay, nice. We'll correct the mistakes later.
I think it's 3.
Only 3?
We'll
3 last year.
All right.
But she's a good one for sure. She was our state champion, older filly or mare. She's already won an allowance prep, and she's defending champion of the Hastings as well. So that's a couple of stakes actions this weekend, both days. What else we got going on? Well, you mentioned the horseshoe toss on Friday night, I think.
Yep, we got the $1,000 horseshoe toss. We're 0 for 2 this year, but we'll have 3 contestants come on down in between the races on Friday night. We have the Hitman playing live music down by the Winner's Circle. Always a fun night. Wear your Fab Friday T-shirt, which you got 2 weeks ago. Get out here for free. And Bud Lights will be $2.50 a copy.
That's great. Yeah, the live music out by the Winner's Circle. A couple great bands so far, and the Hitmen are well known in the Northwest. 7 races. Jackpot Pick 7 will start in the first race. We have a carryover in that Jackpot Pick 7 of $5,500, so just 20 cents to get in. And we were close to giving it away last week.
Yeah, we've given it away once for $16,000 already this year. And then in the last race on Sunday, this past weekend, we had 3 different tickets alive for the jackpot, basically a single winner. And those horses ran second, third, and fourth, and long shot wins, and the jackpot carries over. So it's exciting.
Yeah, that's the Jackpot Pick 7. Again, it covers all 7 races on a Fab Friday night. And Armed Forces Day is this weekend as well, Gary.
Yes, that's going to be on Saturday. Lots of military out here. We'll have a canine show. The Buffalo Soldiers are making their first appearance at Emerald Downs. So lots of honoring of our armed forces throughout the day. Should be a lot of fun, and we'll pay respect.
And we're going to make a decision right now, because I always get asked this: free from military or retired military. If you're retired military, you get in free, and your family gets in free as well.
Okay, that is great. Yeah, honor the military this weekend. Memorial Day weekend at Emerald Downs. And let's see, we also have family fun activities, and so many of you are familiar with that and take advantage for the kids out in the park area north of the paddock. Family fun's happening this weekend.
Yeah, we'll have some blow-up rides for the kids in the park. Also, the pony rides will be out here one day. Wax hens also here. And so it'll be the face painters, which have been a big draw so far at the race season.
Okay, and kind of a theme from the last couple of shows, I think. Well, even before the Kentucky Derby, Gary was going to get pizza for everybody if Justify won the Kentucky Derby. Not only has he done that, he's also now won the Preakness, of course. And how do you get a smile on Gary's face during the show? I mean, how do you do it? You talk about pizza?
Yep.
Okay.
Pizza sounds good.
He did buy pizza.
He did come through with the
He came
pizza.
through with the pizza.
As he went against Justify in the Derby. So, thank you for that.
I bought 4 big pies.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where'd
It
you
was
get?
good. It was good. You didn't use a coupon either. I was surprised.
We went to the Spot Tavern in Renton. They've been around since 1962. Went there during the week. Got 4 big pies.
How many times did you go there during the week?
Just once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 7 races at Emerald Downs on the Fab Friday night, and I have the overnight for Saturday as well. As we
First quarter horse race of the year.
Yeah, 9 races, including
Yeah.
1 quarter horse race on Saturday. And again, stakes activity on the weekend. And, we're looking down the road to the Belmont Stakes. We're going to talk more about the Preakness upcoming, as Justified did win. But Saturday, June 9th, is the Belmont Stakes. And again, that is going to be a big day in the world of thoroughbred racing, as Bob Baffert trainee Justify is going to try for the Triple Crown. He did it 3 years ago with American Pharoah. And Phil, you've probably seen the Belmont Stakes in person a few times.
Yeah, and I know it's such a big difference in the crowd and just the enthusiasm for the race when there's somebody going for the Triple Crown. And,
Yeah.
Somebody asked me during the week, well, what's the odds of this happening again? But in the 70s, it happened 3 times, 73, 77, 78, and almost happened again in 79. So sometimes you get on these streaks, and maybe we're on one of those right now.
Indeed. Justify's undefeated. He's now 5 for 5. Remember that, 5 for 5, not 6 for 6
5
or 4
for 5.
for 4. He's 5 for 5.
But both his wins have been on sloppy racetracks. What kind of track may have a
Maybe it
Belmont?
rains in New York. Who knows?
Yeah, it has rained in New York before. Okay, we are just getting started here on Emerald Downs Weekly. We have a lot to talk about from last weekend and upcoming, so stay with us here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
No Justified bets. I don't think I want to go back to that.
I'm not picking against him again. Or maybe I should.
I don't think he's going to win. We'll talk about that, though.
Ooh.
Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest. So much going on at Emerald Downs this year. It seems like more than, 11 days of racing so far, but a lot of promotions. And last weekend was a busy one, guys. We started it off with the Budweiser Clydesdales, those majestic creatures. In fact, we previewed them a little bit with Todd Rademacher, who's been on that staff for a long time. But they were on the track right after the Preakness, Phil.
Nice. And there's April. April, the Dalmatian, who that's another tradition of the Clydesdales.
She looks
Great
happy.
To see them. She was very happy.
And
Yes.
there are those beautiful creatures. The team coming into Emerald Downs, stabled here all week. It was a treat to see them in their stable area, and they're being guided by the Todd and his assistant there on the track. Nice treat, as it was mid-card on a beautiful Saturday right after the Preakness on the big screen. Clydesdales were last here in 2010, and we hope it's not that long until we see them again. Because,
Has it been that long since they were here, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
2010, and they performed in the Torchlight Parade, Seafair Torchlight Parade as well. Just a great story. That was part of the weekend. And also part of the weekend was Sunday, Exotic Animal Day number 2. Last year it was camels and ostriches. This year we added those horse-like creatures with the spots, the zebras. And the first of the 3, and you go a long way in selecting who's going to be riding, because each of these animals, of course, has a jockey on them.
That's right. It takes a lot of research and talking to people, and
not much research.
Well, there's some research, and we've had a few scratches, so I had to do some late
There were some
changing.
weight limits. There were some weight limits.
Weight limits.
Yes.
Rumor was John Parker wanted to ride a camel, and when I talked to the big boss from Kansas, he said, "Nah, we got to skip on that." But that's
Joe Hedrick, his team.
Yeah, Joe Hedrick from Kansas. So
Yeah.
let's go to the camel race. Riding the camels were Rodina Barrett, Sebastian Mejia Chan, Paul Johnson, and George Rosales.
There's the post parade for the camel race. And, yeah, George Rosales. That was Sebastian. There is Rodina and Paul Johnson. There we go. Let's listen to Tom Harris.
Set. And runners away. Donald Humps off to a good start. The outside. Harbor the hump at the inside with Captain Camel on late. West Seattle Camels coming on. And West Seattle Cattle.
And George Rosales, not far from being a jockey.
Paul. Poor Paul.
Paul on the outside almost won the race, and then he almost fell off his camel. And
he was fine.
We had to wait for him to come back to the winner's circle, and that took about 25 minutes for him to walk back there because he was a little bit sore from a position of holding on with different muscles. And
you interviewed him after the race.
Yeah, he had a couple things to say there.
He just said, I'm going to the fifth floor and having a beer.
Yeah, Paul Johnson, a horse owner, and of course, Rodina Barrett rode a camel last year.
She did. She's placed both years, been in the top 3. She always enjoys doing it.
She's been in the top 3. I like that.
Well, there's only 4, but yeah, she's been in the top 3. And George was a late addition the night before. Said, George, you retired riding thoroughbreds. Let's have one final ride.
It's probably camels are big, but ostriches are a little bit more difficult to ride, as we're going to see here as we look at the ostrich race, which was the second. And those ostriches around all weekend, they kind of freak me out. Look at that.
There's our riders, including Megan Kennedy. We had Luis Gonzalez. Mike Muddy Waters on the right, one of our prominent horse owners. Abby Johnson, Exercise Rider of the Year. And Kaylee Flores. Here's Tom.
And ostriches away. Good start for Flame-throwing Ostrich at the inside. Attaboy Toys coming on. Stop Shopping O right behind. But Flame-throwing Ostrich is running clear but lost the rider. And now Attaboy Toy. Oh, and there's another lost rider. We've got a photo finish.
How about that finish? Megan Kennedy looked like a clear winner. She comes off, and then it's Kaylee Flores on the inside, and that was Luis Gonzalez in the middle. Very close.
Yes.
Who did determine the official winner anyway?
They put up the photo, and Luis Gonzalez, he followed the instruction. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to kind of come off the back of the ostrich and keep running in place like that. And he did that perfectly.
And, Kaylee Flores did that pretty well also. Yes. She didn't hit the ground.
But your buddy, not so lucky.
Yeah. Mike Muddy Waters came off early, and we did catch. There is Mike. He's always smiling. He's a happy guy. He's even smiling when he's just about ready to hit the ground from his ostrich. And Abby's trying to get to the wire, which she did, but she didn't win it. But there is Muddy was a late jockey replacement. Maybe he wasn't quite as prepared as some of the others.
No, and he's, for a jockey to be riding these ostriches, we have a weight limit, and he was a little above that weight limit, but he's been a good guy out here. He's brought a lot of horses to run here, so we said, all right, Mike, show up and do your best you can. He did.
And then we moved on to the zebra race, which was the final race of the day. And this was the new addition that Gary brought in this year, and there they are parading. And our zebras, they were so calm and mellow in the post-parade.
There's our riders. Tina Birdwell, who rode a camel last year. Kevin Orozco, one of our jockeys. Cody Gibson's the tall fella there in the pink vest. And Al Padilla from our jocks room, who's on the far right.
And zebras away, and off like a shot goes Zippy, darting to the front. Noosa Zebra's in pursuit, but look at Zippy go. Oh, and Zippy bolts. He bolts, and Noosa Zebra is balking as well. But the finish line is there, and Noosa Zebra gets the job done.
Noosa Zebra with Tina Birdwell.
They all stayed
exercise rider in the barn of Charlie Essex. There she is, Tina patting her Noosa Zebra. How about Cody Gibson on Zippy there? Had a huge lead, bolted, propped, did everything, almost had the thing won.
He sure did.
How much purse money did he lose right there?
Less than $100.
Less? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of fun. The zebras were a little quicker than I expected, I'll say that.
Yeah, and then they stopped, and they went right back to being mellow. So it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
How did Al Padilla stay on his the entire trip? He had a tough trip.
Al's been on about 10,000 thoroughbreds.
I think so.
Okay, we're going to be right back. This is Emerald Downs Weekly on NBC Sports Northwest. How could the two-legged animal ostrich be faster than the camels and the zebras? They have 4 legs.
Those zebras all ran over to Gary in the winter circle. That's what stopped them.
They're told to go to the finish line.
You were wearing a black and white shirt.
I thought you were. Knock it off.
Clydesdales and exotic animals last weekend at Emerald Downs. Plenty of thoroughbred action as well. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Saturday's feature race was an exciting one. Iron Rob came from the clouds somewhat and closed very strongly to take Saturday's feature race. Here he comes down the middle of the track, and trainer Ken Elison got his first win at the meeting, and David Martin aboard as the pace was hot in this race. And there's your Saturday feature race winner going away up from Phoenix. 2 good races here at Emerald Downs now for Iron Rob. And hey,
very impressive.
That's a feature race.
Yep.
Right. And Saturday, that's Saturday's feature race. Now Sunday's first race was an allowance for fillies and mares, and one of our big upsets at the meeting was a couple weeks ago with No Talking Back breaking her maiden against winners at 29-1. She was still 4-1 in a talented 5-horse field. She gets her second win of the meeting. She might be somebody this year, Gary.
Yeah, you might be seeing her in a stakes race next time out. I mean, she beat stakes horses this time. Very impressive. Sometimes that light switch just comes on, between ages 3 and 4, and it was very impressive first 2 races of the season for the Stensley horse.
Yep. And Sanguinetti aboard for Chris Stensley, owners Jody Peets and Steve Shimizu. That horse is off to a red-hot start, Phil. And Jody, of course, a prominent owner around here. She might have a stakes horse there. That filly is out of Talk to My Lawyer, who won the Gottstein against the boys for Jody Peets as well. Okay, well, our feature race of the week was the Seattle Stakes. It was Sunday afternoon, 3-year-old fillies at 6 furlongs. And here is the finish. I'm a Happy Cat is going to the front. That's Bella Mia between horses. Brilliant Bird on the rail. And I'm a Happy Cat just broke her maiden 3 weeks ago in the Bay Area.
Yeah, super to see Tim and Sue Spooner come up with a nice horse here. Horse broke her maiden down, like you said, the Bay Area. And, they come up here. Where are they going to go? Well, let's try the stakes, Dan Marco said, the trainer. And got a good trip, laid behind the big speed, and come running late. So it was neat to see the Spooners, who are second all-time in wins here in Emerald Downs, to win the first stakes race of the meet. Right,
Watch
Phil?
Rocco at the end here. Yeah, he knows it. And you know what? We should mention and thank everybody who came out on Sunday, because we had over 10,000 people here at the track.
10.
And they were all here during that stakes race cheering. It's about as loud as I've heard it here down the stretch, and Rocco celebrating a nice, easy win there on that stakes race, first stakes of the season, and a lot of folks here to witness it.
That was great. Yeah, I'm a Happy Cat. 2 straight now, 4 career races, and Bella Mia, of course, was our champion 2-year-old filly in Washington last year. She ran pretty well, and speaking of Bella Mia, in the paddock before the race, she had a little fractious point where she got on the grass from the rubber walking ring area there. And Wanda Crockett was standing pretty close to me. Boy, you should have seen Wanda's agility. She was skirting around there, dancing, moving quick. She's been doing...
It's like me refereeing, right, Phil?
Yeah, right, sure. You would have been mowed right over.
Anyway... Wanda did well there to avoid Bella Mia, who didn't hit anybody, just was a little fractious there for a moment. Anyway, that's our first stakes race of the year. Again, we're going to have 2 more this weekend. But another highlight of the Seattle Stakes was myself, John Lindley, and Victor the Predictor. Victor had some health issues last summer, and we missed him for a couple of months, but he is back. And how about him? First stakes race of the year. He was the only one of us 3 that took I'm a Happy Cat. He's right back, didn't miss a step, Phil.
Almost a full year that he's been gone, calendar year, since we last saw him here at the track. And before that, he probably hadn't missed a day in 30-something years, back to Longacres days. And Victor the Predictor feeling better out there. And, of course, the first horse he picks wins.
Yeah.
So Great job, and great to see Victor back here at Emerald Downs. We got a lot of inquiries about him over the last few months, so a lot of folks were happy to see him, as we were.
Yeah, a paddock pick for Victor. We will see him in the paddock this weekend as well for the stakes races. And, yeah, he goes back to like 1972 in Western Washington horse racing media. Goes back a long time for sure. Good to have Vic back, and he's 1 for 1 in stakes. Speaking of stakes, the second Jewel in Racing's Triple Crown was on Saturday, the Preakness Stakes, and we had fans watching on the big screen and all throughout the building. Not a ton of money to be made on the win end if you took Justify, but he's battling with Good Magic again right there under very adverse weather conditions.
Horrible. It was horrible.
Sloppy track, and that's
you couldn't see anything.
Fog from Baltimore. Rain, mist, and here we come down to the finish. Justify is starting to just edge away from Good Magic, but here comes Tenfold. Is he going to get there? Then Bravazzo on the outside, but it's Justify now 2 for 2 in the Triple Crown. That's Ricardo Santana on Tenfold.
I don't like it.
Congratulating Mike Smith.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Any other sport, you have weather like that, you run the race later the next day, delay it. That was terrible.
Horses.
You couldn't see anything.
Hey, they still bet $62 million in that race. Most ever.
We're watching on the big screen. Everybody's
so
like,
what don't you like about it? I know
it was
adverse weather, but what's your solution?
Well, in NASCAR, they run the next, if it's bad weather, they come back and do it the next day. I don't know why horse racing would never do that, right? No.
Nope. Pretty darn tough to get everybody back the next day and get the same handle.
150,000 show up for these NASCAR races, and the U.S. Open, golf, they do it.
That crowd is a whole lot less on Monday.
There's
there's
medication
too.
Couldn't see the race.
Medication, and there's all kinds of things that goes.
Watch
into
the
this.
NBC feed. They used a lot more cameras.
Couldn't see anything.
Fog. I don't know about delaying horses.
Fog.
I didn't hear any reports of horses slipping. Did you?
It's like watching Gary Ref. You can't even see him.
Well, that was the first.
Oh, you can see him.
That was the second time that D. Wayne Lucas and Bob Baffert finished 1-2 in a Triple Crown race.
Only the second time?
Yes.
Really? Out of all these years?
Can you name the other time they ran 1-2?
Check that out.
No.
1996. Our first year of racing was in June. That May in the Derby.
Grindstone over Cavalier.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. Hey. All right, we have trivia coming up and much more on Emerald Downs Weekly. Stay tuned. Tried to pull one over.
Did you get that stat right?
I think so. That's not a correction.
Do you know?
At the end of the show.
No, you know that's okay.
Welcome back to NBC Sports Northwest. Here's a nice stat that's happening so far at the live race meet. Rocco Bowen has won at least one race in the first 11 days of racing, matching Jose Alvarez in 1999, Juan Gutierrez in 2013. This Friday night, Rocco could become the first one to make it a dozen. Joe, you think he can do it?
Yes, I do. I think he will do it. He is off to an outstanding start. Two-time defending jockey champion, looking for his third title. He's way out in front, and he won our first stakes race. Last year, Julian Coutan, who didn't come in until late June, had more stakes wins than Rocco.
Yeah.
So he's dedicated, Rocco, real aggressive, athletic, just intense competitor, and things are sure falling in place for him.
So the streak ended with those other two guys.
Yes, they made it to 11.
Nobody's ever made it to 12. Nobody's ever made it to 12. That's impressive. And Rocco, of course, Friday nights is the toughest night to extend the streak because you only have 7 races. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, Rocco's looking to set a record, and make sure you sign up for the horseshoe toss on Friday night as well. Fill out your entry blank. $1,000. We're gonna have a ringer soon. I can feel it.
Think so?
Sort of. Yeah. Kind of.
At least $100 if somebody gets closest to the pin.
It's good.
Not
nice,
bad.
Nice
$100 goes a long ways. You can't use it for booze or chips in the casino. I found that out in a bad way. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how that works exactly, but we'll go with that. And next, let's meet some of the jockey agents. And jockeys all have agents who do their work. They talk to the trainers in the morning. They go around to various barns, even owners' input, and they try and get their jockeys on the best mounts possible, because first prize in each race is 55% of that listed purse number. So if you can win races, and the jockey agents actually, almost every one of them gets 25% of what the rider, the jockey, earns. So they can make good money as well, and the jockey agents can have more than one jockey as well. Let's hear from a few of our jockey agents here at Emerald Downs.
I got to go with Barkley. He's gonna, as an agent, he's the horse I've always ridden, so I got to go with Barkley, although I had a lot of favorites, but Barkley is the top one.
Last year, when my jocks won all 9 races, we'd win a couple Friday night cards, but never a weekend card.
A number of the Long Acres miles, just, I've seen so many of them, and they just all are special days.
I mean, I love it. Like, every time my dad wins, I love that. But racing moment has to be with an American Pharoah winning Triple Crown, because just like the environment, just the intensity of the whole crowd here, and probably at Belmont, it was a pretty cool moment.
I go to Wendy's a lot on the way home from work, and I usually get like a double stack with fries and a Coke.
I don't know, Burger King Whopper.
There's this place called The Habit. I really like it. They got pretty nice burgers, and I usually get just a normal burger, cheeseburger with grilled onions and all that.
Best car I had that I really liked was a really nice BMW, but I'd probably just take a nice truck right now, and a really nice new truck.
Dream car, I mean, there's a lot of nice cars out there, but I mean, I'm not going for something too pricey, like a Tesla. I really like Teslas. They're not too expensive, but they're not cheap. They're not, over 300, but Teslas, I think they're pretty nice.
I would figure out a way to make it so the breeders could not lose, so we could keep this industry going.
I would just try to maybe make it so that we could get some more purse money for the horsemen around here and help the program, and I'd try to do something that would really uplift people.
And if I had all the money, and I can do whatever, I'd probably remodel most of the tracks or all the tracks, try to make them more modern, especially to attract, young generations like, me or younger, because I think that's what we need in this business. So probably just remodel the whole tracks and try to just get more young people coming.
I love baseball. I played baseball professionally in the minor leagues, and I do love football too, but if I had to pick one, it would be baseball.
I love soccer. Soccer is like, it's between horse racing and soccer. They're head to head. I don't know, it's like their noses apart. I really love soccer. I actually made a team, with all the grooms and all the exercise riders, a couple of riders, and we play once a week, so it's pretty cool.
Aldo Zamora, Vito Lucarelli, and Marble Singer, David Marble Singer, 3 of our jockey agents here at Emerald Downs, getting to know them
Joe,
a little
right
bit.
now, if you look at Gary, right now what he's thinking, double stack at Wendy's.
Single stack.
Okay.
It made me hungry listening to those guys.
Yeah, they like their burgers. Most do. How about coming up in a couple weeks now, almost 3 weeks? It's the Belmont Stakes. Yeah, Justifies going for the Triple Crown. Trainer Bob Baffert, wow, what he's done since the mid-'90s. But speaking of the Belmont, what do you think? Is Justify going to win the Triple Crown, Phil?
It certainly looks that way. And as I said, these things tend to go in streaks. So maybe we're on a streak now where we're going to find Triple Crown winners in 3 out of 6 or 7 years. Who knows? Because it was so tough to do it before American Pharoah did it. But Bob Baffert, I picked against him in both these races. Not going to pick against him again.
Okay.
We've never had a Triple Crown winner not race at age 2.
Okay, well, same thing with the Kentucky Derby.
What?
Well, that one went down, but we still haven't seen one win all 3.
Okay.
He's had a long campaign at age 3. Was he 5 for 5, Joe?
Nailed it.
Yes, he's 5 for 5 with 2 Triple Crown wins. But in this race, the favorite doesn't win too often. You go back through the years. So at this time, I'm leaning to try to find somebody who likes the 12 furlong distance.
Okay.
That might beat him.
I'm with you. I don't think he's going to win. You've got my boy Jack Hoffberg, maybe Audible, running in the Belmont, fresher horses, and his margin of victory Justifies has gone down each of his 4 successive races. Okay. Hey, did you play trivia at EmeraldDowns.com last week? Our question was, who finished second in all 3 1978 Triple Crown races? Well, the question was about the Preakness. Aladar was the answer. The great Aladar, who turned out to be a much better sire than Affirmed, who beat him in all 3 1978 Triple Crown races. So, and Charlie Moore was or Charlie Rowe was our winning entrant. Charlie Rowe got that answer right. Way to go, Charlie.
We're going
to have
names in a
new trivia question later on in the show, of course, in the box. Yeah, Charlie Rowe. Nice job, Charlie. Trivia at EmeraldDowns.com. Okay, yeah, let's go for the question right now before the break. How about who's the most recent horse to lose the Belmont Stakes after winning the Kentucky Derby and Preakness? It's happened a lot since Emerald Downs opened. Who's the most recent one? And send your answer into trivia at EmeraldDowns.com and you'll win a prize. And we need to go to a break. And guys, hold those great thoughts that you have right now. We'll have them in a moment here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Hey, what was that song, California Dreamin'? Wasn't that a good song?
Beach Boys.
Well, that was the Mamas and the Papas.
Really?
Yeah, California Dreamin'.
California Dreamin'.
Yeah.
All the leaves are brown.
What song did the Beach Boys sing?
A lot of California.
That was a hint.
Thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly every Thursday at 11 p.m. right here on NBC Sports Northwest, and repeated Friday mornings at 9 a.m. as well, as we are previewing the weekend and just talking thoroughbred horse racing. And something across the pond there over in Europe, that gal whose name's on the screen, Haley Moore, did something pretty amazing. Look at this loose horse, and she grabbed the rein there and held on to the horse, got right up, patted him, then took the saddle off. She's a TV commentator, apparently, over in Europe. Here it is again. And I don't know if I'd stand in front of a horse like that. He wasn't going super fast, but look at her. She's in her dress, and she just pops right up. And
I've never seen you do that, Joe.
No, I don't think you will.
No.
Unless it's on our turf course. There it is once again. That horse was just galloping at a pretty decent rate, but she must have a horse background. Vern Bay's caught 2 loose horses at once in Emerald Downs history.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome. But way to go, Haley. She was a gamer, that's for sure, and looked like she was no worse for the wear at all on that one. Okay, well, that horse luckily wasn't going full speed, because a thoroughbred at full speed can go up to 40 miles an hour. And we've seen a lot of fast horses here in Pacific Northwest history. In fact, Emerald Downs and Long Acres currently hold 3 Sprint North American records. We'll get to that, but Phil, how about you've been a race fan for a long time. Fast horse in your memory?
Well, when I was a kid, and of course we've seen the movie, but 224. How about that? The final time of Secretariat's Belmont. It was all alone. Nobody's ever come even close to matching that time for a mile and a half.
Every quarter faster than the previous.
Amazing. It was, every time you could watch it hundreds of times and still be amazed. I've never seen a horse move faster than Secretariat going a mile and a half.
He got into a stride that day that was just really incredible. And, he set the record, smashed the record. Nobody's come close, as Phil said. Gary, fast horse for you?
Fast? When I think of fast, I think of sprints, not races that are a mile and a half. 6 furlongs. Handy and Bold here at Emerald Downs. Won numerous stakes, and all of them right at the engine. He go the lead, never looked back. Did it many, many years for Charlie Essex. So that's one name from Emerald Downs that I always think of, a very fast horse. As a kid growing up, there used to be a horse at Long Acres called Carnival Candyman. He used to, I don't know, he's a cheap claimer, but what a neat name for a horse. Carnival Candyman is going to the front. That was what Gary Henson used to say, and he would race almost every week, and I always remember that horse, Carnival Candyman.
Okay, I remember that name. And another name I remember from Long Acres, Chinook Pass, set the North American record in 1982. It still stands for 5 furlongs, 55-1. Nobody's broken it.
Nope.
And Lafitte Pinkai Rode that horse to numerous stakes wins in Southern California. He was a Washington bred, of course. Chinook Pass won here. His last race was in Washington, winning the Long Acres Mile of 1983. But Lafitte Pincay said, not only is he the fastest horse I've ever seen, he's the fastest horse I've ever ridden. I might have had that backwards, but he rode a lot of fast horses too. But Chinook Pass was the fastest, and of course Lafitte Pincay was the North American all-time leading jockey for several years before Russell Bays broke that one. And our other two North American record holders are Hollywood Harbor at 5.5 furlongs, set here in 2012 at Emerald Downs. And boy, he could really rip, this son of Harbor the Gold. He had a lot of fast times. This one stopped the timer in 1:87 seconds for 5.5. Nobody's run that faster in North American history for 5.5.
Yep, even faster than anything at Tour of Paradise. They got a fast racetrack, and Jose Zunino was up for that win that day.
Yeah, that was for owner Jody Peets, trainer Chris Stensley. And then I Keep Saying, who was by an out-of-state sire Yankee gentleman, but out of Emerald Downs Stakes winning mare Arco Iris for the Homestretch Farm. He was just, wow. He was on tilt this particular day as he goes 6.5 at Emerald Downs in the summer of 14. And, this is going to stop the timer in 1:12.4 for 6.5. That record has not been topped. We got some good dirt here, Phil.
Yes, and during the summer when the weather's just right, these horses can move pretty fast.
Yes, indeed. So 3 North American records still standing between Long Acres and Emerald Downs. So fast horses, yeah. And what are some of the fastest splits here? We're trying to find a fraction under 21 flat for the quarter. I know it's happened. You're starting to doubt it because
I looked all day.
We haven't
100 horses
been able to find those individual horses, but we know that Emerald Downs has broke 43 flat for a half-mile fraction. O.B. Harbor and Cabrage hooked up a couple years ago, and boy, they were both awful fast. Here they go down the backstretch. Cabrage on the inside, who does hold the state record now for 6 furlongs at 1:06.4, and that's O.B. Harbor, who was horse of the meeting that year. Tremendous year. As look at them spurred away. What are they ahead by? About
10
8?
lengths.
Yeah, 8 or 10. Okay. In 21-2, and check out this half-mile fraction when it comes up on the screen. It's going to be 42-4.
I remember that. Yeah,
they were ripping.
Now, did one of them hold on and win? I don't think so.
O.B. Harbor won that race.
God.
O.B. Harbor's only loss that year was the mile.
Okay.
Check me on that one.
You guys are going to be combing through your books and records trying to find that under 21 quarter.
Okay. Well, yeah, fast horses, a tradition here in the Pacific Northwest. Good dirt, humidity, weather, it's all coming together. Good track surfaces, fast Washington breds, so forth and so on. Okay, we're going to take a time out and come back and talk more Thoroughbred Racing, Emerald Downs Weekly. We'll be right back. Emerald Downs Weekly continues. Again, 2 stakes races this weekend as Washington breds, and well, anybody's eligible for these stakes. The Auburn Stakes for 3-year-olds on Sunday, and the Hastings Stakes for fillies and mares on Monday. Some great action, and the list of nominees is fantastic. As we mentioned, Citizen Kitty nominated to the Hastings. She's defending champ. But let's go back to that Auburn Stakes, Sunday's feature race. Big list of nominees there as well. And I think you got to start off with state champion Elliott Bay from trainer Howard Belvoir and Steve Bullock's Sip and Fire. Those two had a little bit of a rivalry last summer, Phil.
Who's Sip and Fire?
Sip and Fire is the son of Harbor the Gold right here being blocked by...
Who's Sip and Fire?
Sip and Fire.
Belongs to who?
Well, I'm part owner of it.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yes.
Lion share? A lion share?
No,
How much?
Pretty small share, really.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one to have.
But anyway, Elliott Bay beat Sip and Fire there in the Emerald Express, but 3 weeks later in the Washington Cup, Sip and Fire in those pink silks that have been part of the David Israel Al Adams stable for a long time. He really kicked it in this day. And Elliott Bay's going to run well for second. But so Sip and Fire got a little revenge after a tough trip in that previous stake. And then Elliott Bay went on to win the Gottstein in that huge first prize and was state champion. So they're both expected to run this Sunday. That should be for a good race.
Yeah, 2 Wallbreds, both by our best sire, Harbor of the Gold. So let's have a great race and see who's best as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and some other good nominees in there as well. That is a sprint on Sunday, 6 furlongs, and then also 6 furlongs on Monday, the first stakes race for the filly and mare division. We talked about Citizen Kitty and her 3 stakes wins here at Emerald Downs. She was tremendous last year, and she won last year's Hastings, and here that is. Now, Invested Prospect, if you guys remembered, she had trouble at the gate that day and was scratched, so it came down to Citizen Kitty and that tenacious BCZ Middleton, who was a stakes winner again last year. But Citizen Kitty won it for the Maulers, Bruce and Cass Mauler of Nevada, and, of course, trainer Jeff Metz, who's having a great season so far. And Citizen Kitty's already won at this meet. She came up from that fairly poor form in California, but let's face it, it was at Santa Anita.
Yep.
And she's just a real pro. Here she is down the middle of the track, and she is going to get up and win her seasonal prep right here. Citizen Kitty, the winner. Invested Prospect finished 3rd in there. And coming into the winner's circle is Citizen Kitty, a daughter of No Constraints, who was a champion here at Emerald Downs as well, and by Proud Citizen.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see our friends from Hastings Park up in Vancouver. Hastings, we name the stakes after Hastings, and they name a stakes Emerald Downs after us, and they come down for their race, and we go up there for our race. It's a nice little partnership.
Nice list of nominees for the Hastings as well, and one of the nominees is Euro Devil Woman. She is a daughter of Euro Ears, and here she is at Oaklawn. Now, this is a while ago. This is January of 2017. She won 4 races in a row in the fall of 16 and the winter of 17. And she won a couple of those $70,000 purses at Oaklawn Park. She is owned by Mike Muddy Waters, trained by Mike Puich, and she is stabled here. She's right here. She's going to run on Monday in the Hastings. And
interesting name for a horse. Wasn't there a great song called Devil Woman back in the day? Devil Woman. Remember that song? Who sang
it,
Devil
baby.
Woman?
Let's hear it.
Devil Woman.
Yeah,
I know
it was kind of a...
Black Magic Woman, maybe.
No, that's Santana. Okay,
Oh, okay.
Black Magic Woman. You're
All
thinking
right.
of that real soupy song.
Yes,
it really
it was
wasn't
soupy.
very good.
Phil?
Anyway,
Leave
Euro
me out of
Devil
this
Woman
one.
is a
Devil
threat
Woman.
to Citizen Kitty. Little Dancer's in there, who was the top 3-year-old filly last year.
Ron Schmidt's horse.
Yeah,
we like Ron.
and a lot of good nominees in that for the Hastings. So that is some action here at Emerald Downs this weekend. Double stakes action. And the list of leading Washington-bred earners is going to change a little bit. Psycho Sister's still on top. Not that she isn't good. She's got a chance to go as well with her 2 turf wins. So what do you have to add to this weekend stakes activity? You're going to be picking the races on Memorial Day for our program. You're going to be the hot handicapper in the program.
Yeah.
Got a plan for that?
Sunday Speaks, download the form, go home, do a little, watch some race replays, put the crown on and see if I can get people a trifecta king hit. Been kind of 2 weekends of no winners.
Slump.
So, I got to add up the
You'll be
pluses
back.
and minuses. Yeah.
Okay. You'll be back.
Maybe
Okay.
we'll get something this weekend. I got 4 days, right? 4 days this weekend?
4 days of racing. He's
We'll
been
hit-
listening to the show, Phil.
I
We'll hit
know.
one
He's
of
been
those.
here listening.
I know.
Okay, well, one part of the show that we might need to go over here is, what do you call it? Something in corrections?
Yes, we'd like to clarify a few things. California Dreamin', the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah.
You were right on that one. Last week on the show, Joe, you said Bob Meeking was 90.
Yeah,
Not.
I know. I made a boo-boo
89.
there. 89.
Almost 90, but not quite.
Soon?
June
Up-
6th is his birthday.
And that was because Pat Mullins and Arturo Arboleda, story in the Times, update on them. They both won races this past weekend. And we did confirm Citizen Kitty, Gary, 3 stakes wins so far in her career.
And
So-
Bob Meeking is our trainer of the week from last week as
Yes.
well. You know what his record is so far? 11 starts, 4 wins, a second, and 4 thirds
Is that
for
right?
89-year-old Bob Meeking.
Only
he's
89.
He's too young to be in the
He's not there yet.
nonagenarian thing, but he got his license, his first license in the 1940s, Bob Meeking. But, you know, he hasn't changed that much. I'm serious about that. His attitude and his appearance, boy, you couldn't
He had
tell.
mincemeat win both the Hastings, the BC Derby, and the Lyons Derby.
He did.
One of very few trainers to win both derbies.
That was probably his favorite horse of all
Exhibition
time.
Park.
Mincemeat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on out this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
And the Royal We live music Saturday night, 8:30 on the 5th floor. Free concert. The Royal We, lots of songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They got a fantastic singer. I'll be up there doing a little dancing.
Black Magic Woman.
Maybe. I'll see if they can play that
Okay.
one.
Hey, that's it for Emerald Downs Weekly. Thanks for joining us. See you at the track.
Gary dancing. All right.
Yeah. That little women.
You made up that song.
No, it's that.
You